handbags you most definitely should not get as your first designer handbag in 2025. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Celesta. We talk about all things love, shopping, and handbags. If you love those things, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification. I do post videos twice a week. Okay, so I feel like I've done quite a few recommendations on first designer handbags, first purchases throughout the years, but I never really talk about bags you should not buy. And I think for a lot of people, your first designer handbag holds a lot of sentimental meaning, whether that's a purchase for yourself for hitting a certain milestone, maybe that's a new job, maybe that's graduating from school, you know, whatever it is, or it could also be sentimental because it was a gift from someone else. And so it's hard to let go of that item, even if you don't use it anymore. And so my goal for this video is to make sure that you make the most informed decision for your first designer handbag, so you don't end up regretting it, you know, 5, 10, 15 years down the road. It's just sitting in your closet collecting dust and you don't want to sell it because it holds so much sentimental value. I have like 8 types of bags / 8 bags in general. So without further ado, let's get into it. We're starting with the most controversial one, obviously, and that has to be the Chanel Classic Flap. I think in 2025, at the pricing that Chanel is today, you're paying $12,000 for a medium classic flap. That is actually insane. Don't doubt that this is a classic handbag by any means. I think the price point is very significant. I think you can find something way better within this price point. I also feel like when I was looking for my first designer handbag, and I would say probably 80% of people who are also looking for their first designer handbag wasn't ready to shell out, you know, 12 grand on a handbag for their first handbag. I think as you kind of work up and buy more handbags and buy more luxury things, you kind of work your way towards something as big of a purchase like this. But I feel like for most people, they're not spending 12 grand on their first designer handbag. I think that the quality for Chanel has gone down. I just feel like there's really nothing special about this bag, and it's just so heavy. It's also a little bit big to dress up or dress down. I know a lot of people do take this medium flap for special events like weddings and night out and things like that. And I think depending on the outfit and the occasion, it just like might not fit the vibe. Again, sometimes you just need to carry more things, right? So I feel like for all of those reasons, mainly the price point and what you're getting at that price point, it is just not worth the money to be spending on this bag. Pre-loved, however, I think that's a completely different conversation. I've also talked about how the Chanel Classic Flap in the most recent years haven't really held its value very well. So if you can find a good deal on this bag on the pre-loved market, I say go for it. But I think at the brand new in-store price point at $12,000 today, probably not the best first handbag purchase. Very similarly, we have the Gucci Marmont. And I think had we talked about this, you know, 10 years ago, this would have been a completely different conversation. But I think we've all seen the rise and fall of the Gucci Marmont line. And I know there's still a lot of people that love the Gucci Marmont line, and, you know, to each their own. But I think objectively, we can agree that that has hit its peak and is now on the decline. Gucci has tried a lot to revive this line, and it is very similar in the sense with the Classic Flap. I mean, it's a flat bag, double chain. You can wear it as a crossbody. You can also wear it as a shoulder bag. And so there really isn't much difference between these bags, obviously from different houses, minus the logo. And I think there's a lot of brands doing very similar styles where you can find a flat bag. There's one at each brand pretty much. And so I feel like if you're looking for something that's going to stand the test of time a little bit longer, I would probably look somewhere away from the Gucci Marmont, even if you consider the Gucci Horsebit, for example. It's still within the Gucci house. It's just a little bit more subtle and a little bit more versatile, because for me personally, I know I'm very easily influenced by trends, and it takes a couple people to be like, oh, the Gucci Marmont is tacky, or this is so 2015, you know, and like whatever these like little comments are, it starts to impact how I feel about my purchases, and I know that about myself. And I don't think this makes for a good first designer handbag in 2025, not to mention all the price increases that Gucci's had in the last couple years. This is probably double the price it was a couple years ago, which is actually insane. The next item we have, and this is coming from someone who is an owner of this bag, is the Dior book tote / any loud canvas bag. especially the canvas that the Dior book tote is in. It's not coated canvas. Louis Vuitton, it's a coated canvas. Goyard, it's kind of a coated canvas, versus the Dior, it's literally just fabric. I think for one, this bag is very impractical. I've talked about this before. It is heavy. The strap is too short. It doesn't come with any kind of organization. And this is the bag that is rumored to have cost $86 to make, and they're selling it for $3,500. So all of those things, I think this is just not a very good first designer handbag. Outside of the price point and, you know, the cost versus how much they're selling it for, right? Outside of all of that, it's just not a practical bag. It's not a versatile bag. It's not something you can dress up or dress down. It's very much a travel and beach bag. And on top of that, I feel like the trend for this bag has definitely hit its peak a while back. There's plenty of better options out there. There's all leather options at this same price point that you can get from other houses. It's going to last you a little bit longer. It's going to stand the test of time. And it's just generally a little bit more versatile. Even I think about the Neverfull inside out, right? So you can get this in canvas and then reverse it inside out with the black leather interior. So if you're looking for a more quiet look one day, this is a really good option that you can reverse inside out. The Dior book tote, you really don't have that option. I also feel like because it's not a coated canvas, it's going to get dirty very easily. You can get color transfer on it, you can spill on it, and there's really not much you can do. I have heard other people take their bags into like dry cleaning or something. I personally haven't done that, but to be honest, I haven't really used mine that much to get it really dirty. But yeah, overall, as someone who owns this bag, I do not think this is a good first designer purchase. Honestly, I don't think this was a great purchase in general at all. I like the look of it, but I can't sit here to be like, yes, this is my favorite bag purchase. This was so worth the money, because to be honest, it's not. This is another bag that I also have that I just don't think makes for a good first designer handbag. I think when I'm thinking about my first designer handbag, I want to be able to use this all the time, every day, night, every occasion. I want to use this bag the most. I want to use it for every situation whenever I can, because especially if this was something that I bought because of a certain milestone that I hit. And so for me, I want to wear my bag proudly and as much as possible whenever, wherever. And this bag, just, I don't think you can do that unless for whatever reason you travel once a week, couple times a week. But this is the Louis Vuitton Keepall, but we're also grouping in any kind of travel bag in this, whether that's a duffel, whether that's a rolling suitcase. I just don't think that this makes for a really good first designer handbag, because you're not getting to maximize the use out of this bag. On top of that, this is a travel bag, so you have to understand that you will be kicking this bag underneath the seat of an airplane. It will be tossed around, it will get dirty. And I feel like when I was first buying designer handbags, I was very nervous about using them. I didn't want it to touch the ground. I was very careful with how I was using it. And I think now that I have owned quite a few handbags, I think I have a little bit more peace of mind when it comes to things. I understand that it's a lot more durable than it looks. But specifically with the Louis Vuitton Keepall, I bought this one vintage with the understanding that it's going to get dirty. It's going to be kicked under the seats of the airplane and it's going to drop on the floor. And so that's why I got mine vintage. And of course, also you can find a really good deal on this bag. I just don't think this makes for a really good first designer handbag, because you want to maximize how many different ways you can use it. On top of that, I've also talked about this before, this is again not a very good travel bag. I've had plenty of other travel bags that are a lot more functional and versatile. Like, I love my Bays carry-on bags and I love to use those more than my Keepall. I'll use the Keepall like for funsies, but I feel like if I actually need to be packing, we need to be efficient. We are not for style. We need to be practical, especially if I know I'm going on like a 2-week vacation. We're not bringing the Keepall. The next thing we have is my Louis Vuitton Vanity. And this kind of falls in the same realm, because I feel like there's two types of people that buy the Vanity, right? So there's the person that uses this strictly as a makeup bag. And with that, I feel like it's the same justification as the Keepall. You're really not maximizing your cost per use. I understand people kind of get the bigger size, especially the Nice BB, I think it's that size, where people kind of just put it on display in their bathroom. It really is to store their skincare versus to actually travel with it, because I have talked about that. It's a little bit too big for me. The other type of person is someone who uses this as a little clutch, a little bag, and I know there's a lot of controversy around using this as a bag because it's a makeup bag, it's a vanity bag, it's not, you know, a going out purse. And you know, I feel like to each their own. I personally wouldn't use it as a going out bag, but that's really because I have other bags I would use for going out. If you were to use this as a going out bag, it takes up too much space. It's also not very practical in the sense that it doesn't come with any kind of crossbody strap. You can't attach straps to the strap here. I have seen people do that. I personally would be nervous about how like well it will hold up over time. But in general, I just don't think this makes for a really good purse bag. I think that there's plenty of other vanity bag options that are designed to be purses that come with crossbody straps that you don't need to make it work for you in order to like make it a bag. And that kind of leads me into my next bag. You should avoid any bag that you need to make work for you. So for example, the shoulder strap is always falling off your shoulder. No matter what you do, no matter what you put in that bag, it's always falling off your shoulder. That is not a bag you want to get. I learned the hard way. I wanted to get the YSL shoulder bag, and I tried this on a couple times in stores because that's how badly I wanted this. And for the life of me, it would not stay over my shoulder. And I know myself. I know there's nothing that pisses me off more in the world than when a shoulder bag does not stay on your shoulder. I've also had to consider purchasing other straps or getting holes punched because I wanted to wear a crossbody bag and the crossbody strap was simply too long for me. Maybe the bag is too heavy. You shouldn't have to make like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 bag work for you. There is going to be a bag out there for you that fits your style, it fits your personality, and you shouldn't have to force something to make it work for you. There's plenty of other options out there. I've kind of learned the hard way. The more I've had to force myself to use a bag and make it work for me, the less I'm inclined to use it. And then the last bag you really shouldn't get as your first designer handbag is any bag you don't see yourself using in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And it's not what society says, right? It's not, oh, well, this bag, for example, Chanel 22, Chanel 25, like any of these like more trendy style Chanel bags, they're not going to be around in the next 5 years. They're going to be discontinued. People have moved on to the next trend. It's not even about that. It's about how you see your personal style and whether you see yourself using it in the next 5, 10, 15 years. I think I was so focused on my first designer handbag and what to get, I ended up getting the Louis Vuitton Neverfull. And granted, I think if we didn't have the COVID and the pandemic and work from home and all of these things, I might actually still have that bag. But because of that, I just didn't reach for that bag anymore. I had no reason to go into the office. I had no reason to get an office bag. And I ended up selling that bag as hard as it was. And so you want to evaluate kind of your lifestyle, how you use bags, what type of bags you like to use, and make that best decision. And I hope this was helpful for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will be doing a video next week on one bag from each brand, like your first designer handbag, which one should you get from each house. I will be doing that video next week, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any other like handbag regrets, handbag lessons that you guys might have learned, especially if you've already kind of been collecting handbags for a while. I'd love to make this more of a community for you guys so you can kind of share notes and share lessons with each other so we don't make the same mistakes. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll leave another video for you guys here, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!